I would like to start this video off by saying my condolences to the families of the victims of the most recent plane crashes seen around the world. Now, this video wouldn't be about conspiracy theories if there were not indeed a ton of conspiracy theories surrounding these most recent incidences. Now, without being insensitive, we're going to take a look at some of these theories, and then hopefully by the end of this video, we will formulate our own thoughts and opinions around this topic and what is actually going on. Viewer discretion is advised. Let's begin.
The past 3 days in aviation has seen a total of 7 notable incidents. Today we had the American Airlines CRJ 700 crash in Washington DC, where a US military helicopter collided into it over the Potomac River. Yesterday there was 3 crashes in one day, with a Beechcraft 1900D that killed 19 people, the US Air Force F-35 that crashed in Alaska, and a Cessna S-550 Citation that crashed after takeoff in Venezuela. And on that very same day, a Max Air Boeing 737-400 had a nose gear collapse, causing an evacuation. And then on January 28th, a Busan Air Airbus A321 suffered a major fire that has left the aircraft in a severely damaged state. On the same day as that, a Boeing 737-700 had to evacuate on the runway in Bolivia as the plane suffered a fire in one of its engines. And they are the 7 notable incidents that's happened in the last 3 days.
My friend in the other room has also been keeping up with these airplane crashes, and she told me that she saw online that people believe that there is a war in the sky. And somehow, some way, it's causing these airplanes to malfunction and to go down. Now, obviously, I don't know how true that is. You don't know how true that is. But if it is true, it would make a lot of sense.
4 plane crashes in the last 5 days. Can someone explain what is happening? So a flight from Norway to the Netherlands had over 182 passengers. And once they took off, the flight started experiencing hydraulic system failure, so they had to turn back. So then a flight from South Korea with over 181 passengers ends up crashing, and 179 people pass away, unfortunately. And this wasn't in the air, it literally landed, but it couldn't stop, and it completely just went into flames. The third flight that was experiencing issues was a flight from Canada. And this one was also experiencing landing gear issues. I thought flying planes was completely safe. Then you have this recent plane crash that crashes in Fullerton into a warehouse. So many plane crashes in the last week, and it has the entire world on their heels. So how is it that one of the best ways to travel and safe way to travel is completely not being safe anymore? Like, is this just a coincidence, or is it much more? I mean, do you guys think people want to travel on an airplane now because of all this is happening? Ask yourself, are you wanting to travel on a plane after this?
I don't know what made him think flying airplanes was completely safe. But I tell you one thing, I really don't want to travel nowhere now. I literally had 10 business trips lined up this year. I ain't booked a single flight yet, and I don't think I will. Shit. Whoa! Oh my God! Holy! Oh my God! Look at that! Oh my God! I hope everybody's okay.
You want to slap down? You cannot take your bags with you. You can't take that. You have to leave it right here.
Oh. Come on, I'll get longer.
Please remain seated until further
No,
assistance
it's
happens.
Oh my God.
United Airlines. Houston to New York. Loud bang during landing, and the pilot says this.
As we're coming back to Los Angeles, we continue to have the fuel problem. but on the way below 10,000 feet or so, which is about 4 minutes before landing, our left engine decided to quit. So, but the right engine was great. We had a nice, eventful, nice, smooth landing. So, I've been flying 35 years. This is my first engine failure.
Holy shit.
Very recently. 23,000.
Why they clapping? Why is they clapping? I don't care if this man has been flying for 45 years. You should hope that there's never an engine failure. Oh my God, what is going on? What is happening? Again, y'all, viewer discretion is advised. Oh my God. What? Did y'all see how fast that freaking plane went down? Oh my God. Holy crap. That plane went down like a missile. That is one of the most horrific things I've ever seen. And that was just from the view of a Ring doorbell. I'm going to say it again. Viewer discretion is advised. Here is an actual clip of when that helicopter and that plane met. I didn't know that plane landed in water. Oh my God, those poor people. How could this have happened? How could this not have been avoided? Are you telling me that this helicopter pilot didn't see that airplane? There is an explanation as to what could have possibly went wrong that day. Let's watch.
How did an American Airlines plane and a Blackhawk helicopter end up in a tragic crash while the plane was attempting to land on runway 33? In the videos ahead, we'll take a closer look at the final hours leading up to the crash, the confusion between the PAT-25 VIP military helicopter and the air traffic controller, and how the rescue operation is being carried out. More details all in the video ahead. The plane had departed from Wichita Dwight D. Eisenhower National Airport in Kansas earlier that evening. A PSA Airlines aircraft, operated under American Airlines and identified as Flight AA5342, collided midair with a military Blackhawk helicopter at approximately 9 p.m. on Wednesday, January 29, 2025. The tragic incident occurred as the plane was making its final approach toward Reagan Washington National Airport in Arlington, Virginia. American Airlines confirmed that 64 people were aboard the jet, 60 passengers and 4 crew members, while 3 soldiers were aboard the military helicopter. This plane's radio transponder stopped transmitting about 2,400 feet, which is around 730 meters short of the runway, roughly over the middle of the river. This has marked the first major U.S. commercial crash in more than 15 years. From an aerial perspective, it is evident that Flight AA5342 was approaching the airport from the south, descending over the scenic Potomac River. This area is known for its proximity to several iconic landmarks, such as the Pentagon, located nearby in Pentagon City. To the north, one can spot the striking dome of the United States Capitol building, a symbol of American democracy. The Potomac River, which encircles the airport and much of Arlington, serves as a natural boundary and offers breathtaking views for arriving flights. However, this area is also densely trafficked, both by air and on the ground, adding to the complexity of air traffic management in the region. American Airlines Flight 5342, which we'll refer to as the landing flight, was on its final approach to runway 33. At this stage, called short final, the aircraft was mere moments from landing, flying at an altitude of about 400 feet. This is the most critical phase of landing, where every second counts and pilots are laser focused on safely bringing the plane down. At the same time, an Army Blackhawk helicopter, identified as PAT-25, was reportedly on a possible training flight. It was flying perpendicular to the flight path of Flight 5342, following the course of the Potomac River. The Potomac River is a designated flight corridor for helicopters, and it's common to see aircraft like this operating in the area. The key difference between the two aircraft in this scenario was their operating rules. The Blackhawk helicopter, PAT-25, was flying under visual flight rules. This means it was required to rely on visual observation of its surroundings to avoid other aircraft. The landing flight 5342 was operating under instrument flight rules, which give it priority over VFR flights in controlled airspace. This system assumes that VFR aircraft will actively maintain visual separation to avoid conflicts. Moments before the collision, the air traffic control tower at Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport called PAT-25 to confirm whether they had the other aircraft in sight. PAT-25 responded that they did. At first glance, this seems like an acknowledgement that they were aware of Flight 5342's presence and were taking steps to avoid it. However, it now seems likely that PAT-25 had mistakenly identified a different aircraft, possibly a departing flight from the same airport, and believed that was the other aircraft referred to by the tower. Tragically, PAT-25 may not have realized that Flight 5342 was descending directly into its path. This misidentification could have led to the Blackhawk failing to adjust its course in time to avoid a collision. Although I'm not a pilot, this is what appears to have happened based on the available information. It's a heartbreaking incident that raises questions about how such misunderstandings can occur and what safety measures can prevent them in the future. If you have more insight or expertise, please feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. The passenger plane broke into multiple pieces and sank several feet into the river. Meanwhile, the helicopter ended up landing upside down on the water. Regarding the rescue mission, the main challenge is access. The water they're working in is about 8 feet deep, which is roughly 2.5 meters. On top of that, the conditions are tough. There's strong wind, chunks of ice floating around, which obstructs rescue workers. We also have audio from air traffic control that has been published online, capturing the moments as the two aircraft approach each other. In the recording, we can hear a conversation. It appears to involve the air traffic controller, with P standing for priority air transport, the helicopter, and CRJ referring to the passenger plane. The response seems to come from the helicopter, but something goes terribly wrong. The two aircraft continue to move closer to each other until they crash, and there was no response from the other side. This long-shot video, recorded by the Kennedy Center cam, seems to show two aircraft, a helicopter and a commercial airliner colliding, creating a huge flash. If you take a close-up shot, you can clearly see the Blackhawk helicopter traveling at an alarmingly high speed directly towards the plane, a moment of impending danger captured in stark detail. According to reports, the situation unfolded due to apparent confusion on the part of the Blackhawk pilot. He was seemingly unaware of the presence of a second aircraft in the vicinity, which ultimately led to a critical misjudgment. When the flight controller radioed in, asking if the pilot had identified Flight 5342, the pilot confidently confirmed that he had visual contact.
If that's the story as to what happened that day, then honestly, it makes a lot of sense. It looks like an honest mistake that cost a lot of people their lives and a lot of loved ones heartache. Sad, it's unfortunate, but man, mistakes happen, and sometimes mistakes can cost a lot.
Tonight, the FAA is now investigating mysterious 6-foot chunk of ice falling from the sky, slamming into a home in Palm Coast, Florida, north of Daytona Beach. The ice smashing through the metal roof of the home. Pieces of ice also found in the street. No one inside the home at the time was hurt. Authorities believe it likely fell from a plane.
What? What would cause a big chunk of ice like this to fall from a plane? This isn't adding up. Something ain't right here.
So we're supposed to believe a 6-foot-long, 3-foot-wide piece of ice fell off of a plane into a house in Flagler County, Florida. I know, you don't know what I'm talking about? Look at this shit.
So there was an incident where a piece of ice went through the next door neighbor. The neighbor next door saw the ice fall from the sky. And I don't know if you can tell, but there's a little bit of ice. There's ice over here.
So allegedly, let's just say allegedly, that piece of ice came from a plane. Come on now. Flagler County, Florida. As I always say, I'm not big on conspiracies. I'm not. But something's not adding up. And the fact that the next door neighbor seen when this was happening and didn't record any of it is puzzling to me. It's only one word that comes to mind when I see this. And the word is firmament. A 6-foot piece of ice fell out the sky into a home today. 2025 is crazy. I'm out.
I don't know about y'all, but I've never seen planes have ice or snow on them. I could be wrong. Maybe it happens, but I've never seen it. And then this is in Florida. Where was this plane coming from, or what was it going that it had a big old chunk of ice, 6 foot long, 3 foot wide, just sitting on top of it that could have fall off and land onto a house? When I tell you it don't add up, it just doesn't add up. As afraid as I was to fly, I just recently started flying maybe 7 years ago. I know that don't sound too recent, but it's recent for me. Once they convinced me that flying was one of the safest ways to travel, and it makes perfect sense. There are far more car crashes on the road, deathly car crashes on the road each and every day than there are planes that go down. But like he said, the number of commercial crashes that happened last year versus the number of commercial crashes that happened this year in the first month and a half has doubled the entire year of 2024. It's insane. But with this rising and increasing number of commercial planes crashing, it makes you wonder if flying still is as safe as it once was. But there has to be a solution. There got to be something that can be done to prevent this, because plane failure, planes going down, it's almost no way to survive that. I found a video that might be a solution. Let's watch.
If an airplane is about to crash for any reason, it's almost impossible for the passengers on board to survive. Whether it's business class or economy, passengers are not given parachutes. This is the reason over 100,000 people have lost their lives in plane crashes so far. But now, this could soon change, as an engineering team is working on detachable airplane technology. In this design, the airplane will be structured in such a way that in any emergency situation, the passenger section will detach from the rest of the plane. After this, with the help of 2 advanced parachutes, the passenger cabin can be safely landed on any water or land surface. In this way, passengers will be able to survive without any harm. What do you think about this design? Share your thoughts in the comments and follow for more valuable content.
If this technology is a possibility, please, 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 they need to implement it into all current aircrafts or build brand new ones if need be to protect the people that are flying on board. It's that important. It's that serious. It's going to cost billions of dollars, but it's going to be worth every penny. Man, look, that's all I got for y'all today. Leave your thoughts, comments, and opinions down below. I'm going to catch y'all in the next one. See ya.